Hello, good morning, good afternoon and good evening to everyone. As I have been told that there are participants from US, Canada, Europe, Middle East, India and Far East. So appropriately, whoever, wherever you are, my greetings are to you. My name is Hari, as Atul told you, so my profile is in front of you. I hope you all must have read my profile, so I don't want to waste time on this introduction. Let me go to the main point. Our topic today is top 5 project management tips to product managers. So I would like to begin this with the status quo, that is the state of affairs now in product management. Especially there are two scenarios I see now. One is that there are products that inspire project and product managers, and we also have products that put them in despair. And this is definitely a situation where, although the first part is interesting to hear, I'm going to focus more on the second part, that is the products that put them in despair. Meaning, why we introduce products, sell them well, but we immediately try to correct, repair, rework, recall. So what should we do about it, and what are the tips available to develop products within the time, within the budget, and what should we focus on? So these are the points we are going to see. First, I would like to go start with these products that inspire product managers and project managers as well as customers. So I would like to first introduce that the latest one, very latest, in fact very hot. In fact, it's not introduced in many parts of the world. iRoad. It's a Toyota product. When I saw the video on the YouTube, I was amazed. It's really an inspiring product. See the features, you can see they all very ultra modern features. You see ultra compact, tandem 2-seater, helmet free, air conditioned. So when I first saw it, it came to my mind that it looks like an air conditioned two-wheeler or mobike. So air conditioned mobike, I mean it would be an understatement, but when I show you the product, you'll be amazed. Weight is just 300 kgs, so that means about 3 people can lift it very easily. Seating capacity 2 packs. It's actually tandem, that is one after another. Suppose the vehicle is going in this direction, one guy here, another guy here. Driving range 50 kilometers. It's good for city drives, so it's mainly meant for city drives. Width 850 millimeters. So that's one interesting feature I would like to touch upon. See, it's the same, the width is same as the conventional two-wheeler, which means the next point, you can park 4 iRoads in one typical car park. So see the amount of space they are saving. Then zero emission, of course this is very important, low carbon dioxide emission, power operated. There are so many features. In fact, how are we going to collect these features? That's where the success lies. So this is the product. There you go. See iRoad. On the left hand side, on the right hand side, you can see 2 pictures. Now I just want to ask you a small quiz or a question. Can you tell me, or can you imagine, or you all must be thinking, which one must be the front side and which one is the rear side? So hopefully this is front side and this is rear side, but that's not the case. See the design innovation that has gone in. This is in fact front side, this is in fact rear side. It looks exactly like our auto rickshaw, but this is something like auto rickshaw going in the reverse gear all the time. You see, since it looks like the front side, this is the front side. In fact, you see the 2 wheels here. In fact, the rear end you will have 1 wheel. In fact, on our typical auto rickshaw, we have 1 wheel in the front and 2 wheels in the back. So don't be fooled by if somebody comes like this. Actually they are going ahead, not coming to hit you. So the rear is front and front is rear. And this really surprised me. How could have they thought like this and collected these features, especially when you see the next slide, the iRoad. See the side view. Amazing. See one wheel here, the two wheels there, and then see how it turns during the. So we should actually see what Yanaka, Mr. Yanaka, the project general manager of iRoad. That's inspiring something. So he says his objective was to create a fun to drive and convenient urban EV, electric vehicle. Fun to drive. Really, I can see that. The lady inside this, she is merged with the vehicle. In fact, there is no vehicle. If you see the lady, you can't see the vehicle. If you see the vehicle, you can't see the lady. That's what actually finally he was saying. This automatic active lean mechanism developed based on the body movement of skiers, running animals, gives the driver the sensation of being totally at one with the machine. These are all really products that inspire us, how they could have collected these features, arranged with the stakeholders, and what prompted them to go in for a product like this. These are the points actually I want the product managers to look at, how the future product should be fine. This is on the one hand inspiring. Definitely we are going to have these vehicles in our cities very soon. But we do have the bad side or the sad side or not so good side that we are going to see. Before that, we will see one more innovative product. In fact, the product that personally inspired me. Whenever we say innovative product, we always think of Japan, US, Korea, for example now. But this one, in fact, inspired me very much because it came from our India, especially from Kerala. E-toilet, the much needed product in India. Now, you see, a coin is dropped into the slot, the door of the toilet slides open, the light and the exhaust fans turn on. It's amazing. See the product here. It's very compact, very transportable. And one thing I really appreciated in this, after use, in case you forget to flush, this is what many of the people forget conveniently, or sometimes they don't do because that's something. Now the automated flushing turns on and sterilizes the night soil. Naturally, the product manager of this product, possibly Mr. Vinod, director of ERAM, that's a company which innovated this, have really thought about the Indian conditions, because in case you forget to flush, this never happens in Western countries or in Europe. That's a must. But here there are chances, so they have thought over it. And I want the product managers to think about these things, the possible mistakes the users of the products might do, maybe by out of absent-mindedness or out of culture, what they all would do or would perform. If they take care, definitely the product would be successful. By that way, if not for anything else, I would give 9 out of 10 to this product, just because this guy has thought over this point in case you forget to flush. And the automated flushing, etc. There are common features when you get into a product you will get. Now the name of this e-toilet, again I should congratulate him for naming it Delight. You all know what it means, Delight. The country's first e-toilet unit has been developed by ERAM. Anyway, so you all should remember that there are two products we have seen which really inspire us to go further into make innovation, bring world-class products. So naturally the innovation comes, whether it's not only restricted to Europeans or Japanese, it is possible in India. We can innovate lots of products. As they say, mother is the necessity of invention. I insist upon every who listens here. I have lots of ideas. I'm going to in fact share. I gave some idea when I was recently invited to a college to deliver a chief guest address on environmental lean technologies, how to avoid waste. In fact, I gave an idea to the students that was very well accepted and welcome. Now, the good side is over. We are going to enter the bad side, meaning the products that put us in despair. In fact, we feel ashamed that nearly 4.3 million vehicles were recalled by global giants, not locals, by global giants in the last 6 to 10 months. This is only a data we have collected from the papers, from our office, my assistants, my secretaries, they have collected. In fact, I keenly watch on these product recalls as a personal interest. Why it happens whenever a product is recalled, I really go mad, and especially when a product is recalled by a global giant, I am not able to really digest the fact that how they can afford to. Maybe the strategy is different, but the point is that millions of dollars are spent on warranty costs. Why we should spend this much money? Why we should not? What are the areas we are affected? They have to recall 3 R's: 1 R, 2nd R, 3rd R. You have to first recall, then repair it, then reship it. And do we need it? As product managers, do we need it? Why can't we avoid it? And why we want to spend millions of dollars in recall costs, and why don't we want to spend a fraction of it on improving the COPQ or improving the quality in the first place? Is it a mindset, culture? When I scanned through the companies that recall the product, I was amazed because all sorts of companies are there, especially Japanese companies. Many are Japanese companies, Indian companies, American companies, all are there. I really don't understand how they put up with this. I feel shame when I recall something. Okay, now the point is that why don't we design the products in such a way that we have no place to recall at all. We have no room to recall. Can we not? You may say that, some of you, maybe in the question and answer session, some of you may say that, Ari, look, this is not a life-threatening product. But my dear, are you not losing the business? Are you not losing the image? Fine, it's not life-threatening. But there are several cars which have been, recalled because they were in life-threatening situation. And so that is not the point. Possibly we are lethargic. Possibly we want to enter the market, be the early bird, capture some market. Should we be so profit motivated? Should we be so market share oriented? Even after all these, okay, if a new company thinks like that, I can understand. But world-class companies, how much of profit they want to make? Don't they have some kind of ethics? That is my, in fact, last point we are going to see. The point is that when you recall, lot of things actually you are talking about your company. In fact, lot of things the customers think about your company. See, when I scanned through the defects, possibly I thought that the defects could be something which they could not have attended to. But I was really irritated. Defects range from simple headlight issues, software malfunction, to oil leakage, to fuel pump, to steering column defects, to engine fire. All these defects, in my opinion, with the current technology available, could have been avoided before the car was shipped to the customers. Then what prompted them to ship to the customers? It's something you guys have to ask the product managers. In fact, product managers are responsible. Okay, between project managers and product managers, let us little after, let me see where they fit in, where they come in, where one's boundary starts and where one's boundary ends. Now I want you to keep a goal of, can we work towards zero recall, not zero defect, zero recall. Defect is within you. Recall, when you notice something, the customer is also involved. So the customer comes in the picture. You know how much of you know the agony the customer will go on. In fact, I don't want my product to be recalled. For example, I won't like to say to my neighbor, where is your car? The company has recalled. Why? It has lots of problems. That is not the stage I would like to be, because when I purchased the car, I would have boasted of my car. In fact, related to car, I have lots of examples. Let me go into my first tip towards achieving our goal. Of course, I have almost 50 tips, but since the webinar is for 1 hour, I cannot ask or more time or talk more. The first tip, tip number 1 towards our goal: elicit requirements from all stakeholders to achieve zero recalls. In fact, earlier I wanted to put zero defect, but zero defect is known one. Philip Crosby has been telling for decades together, but no one seems to listen. But the recall, why not be, aim at zero recall? Recall is something. Why? When we think back, the root cause seems to be lying in not eliciting the requirements from all the stakeholders. They do elicit requirements from some stakeholders. That's a problem. Not all stakeholders. I don't know how many companies interview, invite the possible car owners to participate in their new features, what they want. See here, it's a pharmaceutical product. See the stakeholders table here: hospital, all these politicians, insurers, pharma is there. But there are so many stakeholders left out. They ask, what about us? What about us? You have left it. We are also party to it. Now, so you should understand who is a stakeholder. That's our next question. Now, PMBOK Guide, which is the project management body of knowledge from the PMI, the latest edition says that, in fact, I like that definition very much, which says that a stakeholder is anybody who may affect the product or the service or the result, who may be affected by the outcome of the product, or in the latest edition they have added one more, who perceives himself or herself to be affected by the outcome of the product. The last statement which they added in the recent edition is really amazing. Perceive themselves to be affected. May affect, we understand. May be affected by the outcome, we understand. But perceive himself, so it's actually a wide net. You have to really identify the next. That takes us to the next one. Identify and classify the stakeholders. The most important point why I have taken this as the first step is that, let me go to this point quickly and come back. The bad news, because that will justify this. Most of the new product development projects fail. It says collectively, taking all IT industry, e-commerce industry, FMGC, fast moving consumer goods industry, every industry if you take, collectively if you put, nearly 60 to 70% of the products fail. They don't make it to the showroom. Fail here, it means the cost overrun or schedule overrun or both, or the sponsor withdraws because somebody else has already introduced. So these are the problems, because the main reason they have attributed is due to poor requirements. So poor requirements definitely is one of the main causes of product failures. Not that they were sent out into the market and then they failed. No, they are scrapped. Even before 50% is completed, they are scrapped. Why? Because of the poor. Now, why the poor requirements? If you work back, they have not identified all the stakeholders. Now, how do I identify? Okay, first identify your key stakeholders, and then after identification, you have to classify the stakeholders. Now, how do I classify the stakeholders? Now, to identify the stakeholders, put the 3 tips or the sub tips I told you: who may be affected, who may affect the product, the features and functions, and then who may perceive themselves to be affected. Naturally, you need to, first identify the key stakeholders. One sub-tip I can give you is that identifying key stakeholders is usually easy. Now, what you do, assuming that you have identified 10 key stakeholders and nothing comes to your mind beyond that. Now, ask each of these key stakeholders to identify at least 5, each 5 further stakeholders. Then now you have got 50 stakeholders. So naturally that way, like a multi-level marketing, you can identify stakeholders and then classify them. Now how do I classify? You can use this technique, PI grid or the Salience model. Now the next slide shows your PI grid. See, the power is on one side, the interest is on the other side. Assuming that you have all the stakeholders, before they were not classified, see, A, B, C, D, G, H, etc. They are all stakeholders, but they are now put in several quadrants. What are these quadrants? Now, when some stakeholders' power is high, interest also is high in the product, in its outcome, you put him under this quadrant who should be managed closely. Suppose another stakeholder, see, you have to have a stakeholder list like this, and then number, then stakeholder name, then possibly his classification. So take each stakeholder 1, 2, 3 and then make a kind of a discussion, brainstorm before putting them in the right quadrant. Suppose another stakeholder is having high interest but low power, high interest, low power. Keep him informed. So this quadrant, two-way axis. You see, power on y-axis, interest on the x-axis is very clear, simple. Use this, or you can also use the Salience model. Salience, as the name indicates, importance, the salient points, stakeholder classification. It's based on 3 factors: power, legitimacy, urgency. Meaning, the power the possible potential stakeholder has on the product, the legitimacy he or she owns on the product, the urgency. Now, according to this model, if a person who you do not know whether he is a stakeholder or not, so if a person seems to have power and legitimacy, naturally you should put him under 4. 4 is dominant stakeholder. And if a stakeholder is having only legitimacy and urgency, you should put him in 6. 6 is dependent stakeholder. So like that, you classify and accordingly develop stakeholder management approach strategy. For each stakeholder, you should develop some approach strategy. How to approach him, how to manage him. So you have to write, you have to discuss. And who is not a stakeholder? 8. According to this model, a person who doesn't have power, legitimacy, urgency is considered a non-stakeholder or not a stakeholder who you need not worry about. Fine. So with these 2 tools or diagrams, you can classify the stakeholders. After classifying, you have to really manage closely all these guys. So start with, again, it's a kind of prioritization. Manage them closely. That means keep involved, with them on a continuous basis. Next, I would like to go on to involve operational stakeholders. It's another, an important aspect which many product managers coolly forget, or they don't know the importance of. Who is this operational stakeholder? See, whenever we say stakeholders, normally what comes to our mind is the customer, the ultimate customer who is going to use it, the user, or the financier, or your internal bosses. But we never think of one who operates it and maintains it later. Normally, the operational stakeholders are coolly forgotten because for convenience we forget, especially the project managers and product managers. Why? Because they are the ones who will know the weaknesses of your product. And as a natural human beings, we don't want to listen to the weaknesses of our own product. So naturally, either we avoid them purposefully or we don't know that they have a gold mine of information. Now the second is very important. now that you are aware, involve the operational stakeholders in your data collection, in your feature collection. They'll come up with lots of ideas. I tell you, your next product can be a very successful product. I have given some examples. For example, cell phone, car, mouse, USB modem, courier. In all these, I have faced problems as a user, as an operator. I am operating cell phone. I am operating the car. For example, in my car, almost 4 years ago, I purchased a luxury car, and you'll be amazed. I'm okay with it. It is really good. I'm proud of owning it. But one thing really irritated me, which really, how such a big company could have forgotten it. The point is that when I was taking the test drive and then coming or driving my home, it all was not apparent. Okay. Then when my driver started driving it, of course the trouble started, because one day I wanted to change the music, the songs. But then I asked him, where is the remote? He said, sir, there is no remote, because it's in the steering wheel. Fine. Now the driver drives. I can't every time, drive or change. And I asked for remote. Then he said, no remote, sir. He searched, no remote. Then I escalated the issue to the company. Give me the remote. Maybe you have forgotten. No, sir, we have not forgotten. There is no remote for this car, this music set. Okay, this must be purchased music set, so they must have. No, sir, this is an inbuilt integrated music set, and it is our own company's music set. And I was really mad about it, because what song I should listen, only my driver decides. And possibly they must have designed this car thinking that the owner will drive all the time. Is it not? Is it not a big flaw on their designer? And they should have, in fact, consulted the owners, the drivers, and taken opinion before launching onto the luxury car. Now, I have stopped listening, because every time I have to ask my driver, change the music, change the song, change it, and he also gets irritated, attention diverts. Such a simple issue. Cell phone you take, there are so many things. They don't care. They dump the features. In my phone, I have a smartphone. Almost 40% of the features I never use, I will never use. I have never used, I will never use. But I have paid for it. Too much money. I'm going to never use those features. Did they ask me? Did they ask users like me? And then they told that, okay, you build all these features. I don't know. Simple things. Mouse, it's irritating. I'm giving you lots of examples because I'm facing. Now, for example, what could be the problem in the mouse? See, mouse, the problem is, it's a battery operator. Now, there is when I switch on the computer, okay, it all works. When I switch off and go home, the point is, the mouse beside in the bottom, the laser light keeps on burning, which I never noticed, because there is a switch on, switch off button. Of course, it's a fault on me also. Whenever I leave, I have to switch off that and then go. But how many times we remember these things? A product should be designed in such a way that, such a very, very handy product, it should be designed in such a way that there should be no room for thinking and then making an effort to switch it off. It will really irritate the customer. For me, it's nothing. So the point I am trying to drive is that, why don't they have an automatic switch off? Why don't they dispense with that? Meaning, when I switch on my computer, the mouse should get switched on automatically. When I switch off my computer, the mouse also should get switched off, so that the battery is saved. Now nearly 4 to 5 days once I am forced to change the battery, because mouse doesn't work properly. It's a wireless mouse. And I'm paying much for that. And okay, payment is not a problem, but I don't enjoy it. Now you know what happened? It so frequently happens, I have purchased a battery of cells and keeping it in my drawer, because I don't know, anytime it might go, it may not work. These things the product developers will come to know when they involve the operational stakeholders. There are many. Due to paucity of time, I'm just stopping with this. Now next is beware of scope creeps. This is another important point. In fact, The scope creep is the one that kills all the product developers. Now I want you to, what is scope creep first of all? Scope creep is, as the name indicates, the scope creeps, meaning it is applicable, of course, for fixed price contracts, fixed scope contracts, where the third party software or product you develop for a third party, and the third party owner gives you the scope. This is what, say, 40 features my product should have, and this is the money, this is the time. And when you are 4 months into the product development, when the customer comes and asks 4 more features or 5 more features within the same time and within the same budget, that is called scope creep, for which he is not willing to give you extra time and money. The scope creeps, and it so happens. So scope creep is okay. If you are developing an in-house product wherein the scope can be, the features can be expanded like a rubber baseline or rubber band, then scope creep is really not scope creep, because your manager anyway will approve. But there are many situations, especially the e-commerce IT guys, especially the third-party software developers, third-party product developers, they all work under fixed price lump sum and fixed time contracts, where the scope cannot be allowed to be creeped. So naturally, the model I am suggesting, or it's used, is Moscow model or Moscow technique, wherein the M stands for must or must have, S stands for should have, C stands for could have, W stands for would have, or I would, not would have, would. Meaning, M must, you must have these features, otherwise the owner will not accept this product. Should, it's like nice to have, should is nice to have. The last two, if not properly handled, they are likely to be converted as scope creeps. Can't or won't. You can also see, you can call it as can't. I mean, you can't do it or you won't do it. You can do it, you will do it, provided the owner agrees for extra money and time. So use this model. It's a very famous model in capturing and in prioritizing. Actually, this helps in prioritizing. Another common mistake people do is they gather all the features and they try to dump all the features. They didn't prioritize. You can release version 1, variation 2. In variant 1, you can include 60% of the must and the should features, and in variation 2 or variant 2 or version 2, you can include the balance, can't and won'ts. This way you can really be ready to the market first, early bird, because you are catering to the must and should. Capture the market, immediately release the next version. Now, the next point, baseline the requirements that are unambiguous, traceable, complete, inconsistent, and acceptable to all key stakeholders. Baseline. There are many words. Actually, the requirements you have to baseline. Why? This is applicable only if you do for the third-party software development or hardware development, product development. As I told you, within the company in-house, possibly you have the budget and the time to expand as the scope expands. But for third-party, it is not the luxury. So naturally, what you should do, you should identify all the key stakeholders. Baseline meaning getting the approval after identifying the requirements, getting the approval from all the key stakeholders that, look, your product will have only these requirements. Are you in agreement? Sign it. Then I am also signing it. But before baselining, ensure that you baseline only those requirements that are unambiguous. How do I ensure unambiguity? See that each requirement is measurable and testable. Don't accept any qualitative requirement. Any qualitative. No, the look should good, the finish should look good, better, or the steering wheel should be comfortable, or these kind of requirements are highly qualitative. Never accept. Ask the customer to quantify, measurable, testable, traceable, fix who asked it. you should be able to trace it, because any point of time, maybe 7th month in a 12-month product development project, 7th month, one of the key stakeholders might question, oh, why, who asked for this feature? I don't want. Or when they have to take a trade-off, now we have spent lots of budget, almost so 2/3, only 1/3 is spending, the remaining, and can we compromise on some of the features which we agreed? Okay, then you should be able to trace whoever asked for the features. Then see that the requirements are complete, fully defined, consistent with the product's ultimate objective. You see that project general manager of Toyota, his objective was to have a car that integrates with the driver, the user, and mimics the skiers and the animals when they turn, like cheetah. You know, if any requirement that is not helping to the objective, don't use it. Educate the customer, educate the key stakeholder. Look, let us put it in can't and won't now. So later, and then get everybody's signature. Then it becomes baseline. It becomes baseline. Now, one bad news and good news. Of course, some of you must have already read. What is that bad news? As I told you, most of the new product development projects fail. They exceed the cost and the budget and are both due to poor requirements. What is the quantity? Maybe about 60 to 70%. One thing is that I just want to inform you that if anybody wants to bring one successful product to the market, they have to simultaneously work on at least 20 products, because the conversion ratio has been found to be 1:20, meaning if you work on 20, you'll be able to bring at least 4 to the market on time. And if you bring 4 to the market on time, out of 4, 1 will be successful. That means the balance 20 products development cost should be loaded onto that one successful product. That means 20 project managers should be working on for one new product, one successful new product development. Don't you think the cost is too much? And the importance of the product managers is very high. In fact, can we reduce it to 1:10 or 1:5? A long way to go. Now, the good news is that PMI, Project Management Institute, has brought a new certification, PMI PBA, that is Project Business Analysis, Business Analyst. The number of business analysis jobs is predicted to increase 22% by 2020. Too much of failures. As I told you, many projects or many product development projects fail because of this is the number one reason, poor requirements. And because of it, now all the product management companies are looking for certified, project analysts or business analysts. And PMI study also has vouched 22% increase is expected. This is according to the statistics. And you know what it is going to give you? Professionals skilled in effective requirements management, credential that spotlights your ability to effectively work with the stakeholders to define business requirements, shape the output of the project or the product, and drive. So too much is going to come. Naturally, this is one good certification we have been waiting for. It's not yet launched. It's in the pilot stage. Of course, IAPM is planning to do that very soon, even willing to help on the pilot candidate. I think all product managers should get into this as well as the next one. You see, this all we have seen. And this is one interesting thing. Just today, this email came to me. I'm not against Tata. It's an example from the Toyota car, new car, that is Corolla Altis. It's a luxury car, as they call it. It's a luxury car. Definitely it's luxury. Everyone would like to own it. But I just want to think over, is it feature rich but value poor? Is it feature rich and value poor? It's your decision. Think it over. But I'm going to just give you some pointers why I want I'm not against Toyota or any company. I love to own. But the point is, as product managers, you should think in these aspects. Because per se, if you look at the sketch, nothing wrong. You like everything. But let me now get into the trench. You see, best in class space with the rear reclining seat. Rear reclining seat. I love this. This feature, I love this. Because whenever I have sat here and driven the car, I have sat here and enjoyed the reclining. But whenever I sit here as the owner of the car, when my driver drives, I never had the luxury of reclining. It's fixed. I have been, in fact, longing for such a feature. Now that it has come, it's good. I really love it. But this is on the surface, it's good. But in order to justify the next release, normally the product owners dump several features, say 10 new features. Out of 10, possibly 2 will be really delighters. Delighters, the Canos model. You all must be knowing the Canos model, so I am not covering it. According to the Canos model, the dissatisfiers, satisfiers, and the delighters. Definitely, it's a delighter for me, of course. The customer's perception changes from person to person, but for me, it's a delighter. Now, what are the dissatisfiers or the satisfiers? Now you see this. It looks very normal. The steering or the gear rod. But you see what they say, 7 speed. I don't want. I have in my current car 5 speed. I have never used the 5th gear at all. Even 4th gear okay, but 5th gear I have never used. I've gone to long distances, maybe Bangalore, maybe Trichy. I've gone 400 kilometers, etc. But I have never had the necessity to use. But then, is it justified? Should I? Okay, 1 level more. 4th level is the normal usage. Okay, in the long distance. 5th level is okay. 1 level high. But why then 7 speed? Where am I driving a sports car, or am I driving a luxury car? Or are you buying a luxury car to drive it as a sports car? Is it not a fault in the customer perception of what a luxury car, or is it the fault in the perception of the product manufacturer? I would like to listen some answers from you in the question and answer, but I am not for the 7th speed, because I will never use the 7th speed, 6th speed, because because it's a city luxury. We never go out for speed or race or with the luxury cars, or 1,000 kilometers or 2,000 kilometers in a long stretch of road. We never go using luxury car. We go by air. We don't go by car. So why do we need? If assuming it's a $200,000 car, assuming, sorry, $100,000 car, say about 45 lakhs. Now, could Toyota have reduced about 2 lakh by limiting itself to 5 gear only? The extra 2 gears, could it have saved on the 2 lakhs? This is what I want you to think over. Let us come to another feature. See, you see the nice dashboard, and this the dashboard is here. And you see what they say is 7 touch screen, and it is meant for India. Fine. In India, a luxury car owner who has money to spend about 40 lakhs to buy this car definitely will have a driver, a full-time driver, and the driver will be driving. In fact, in India, the drivers enjoy more features than the owners. That's a I would say it's a sad part, but operational stakeholders were not involved in designing the car systems. And you buy a 45 lakhs car and allow the driver to enjoy. I mean, I'm not so pusillanimous or so small-minded, but really something on the corner of mind. Are just because to use these features all the time you will be driving, and very rarely you will be giving to your driver just because these features are there. You see, think over it. Should we need? And 7 touch screen. When I touch the screen, can I drive the car correctly? Is it not safety lapse? Do you want this? Okay. In the same slide, they have put this push start button. This is a welcome feature. I really like it. Welcome feature. I love it. But then in one of the recent cars, the state-of-the-art car, they said it's a state-of-the-art car. It's a very high-end from very high manufacturer. I'm sorry, I'm taking the example from the car because everybody loves the car, and next to home, everybody likes car as our home. So naturally, everybody, although I know the participants are from IT industry, from hotel industry, service industry, but I hope everyone will be able to relate. Now, what happened in my new car, which I purchased just 1 month ago? When the test drive was there, it was started and given to me. Okay, I drove and never noticed that. Then after 2 days, when I started on my own, I searched for the start button. I know that it is push start, but then I couldn't find it. I then searched, then I asked her, sir, it is behind the wheel, hidden. So I had to look for. Then one more thing irritated me was, it was put on the left hand side, that is behind the wheel, left hand side, that is near this point, somewhere near here. It was put. It was totally hidden. Which hand you should use to start the car unit? Left hand. Normally in our culture, although I am an international guy traveling, lived in many countries, naturally when you buy a new car starting by left hand, we don't like. Why could it not have been put on this side, right hand side? Just a point. I am not a human being. I sometimes see all these things. So put such a innovative and world-class manufacturer, not this car, I don't know where in this car it is, but in my car, that's also a world-class company, it was there, but I can't do, now I can't change it. I can't change that button, I am living with it. Then you see another feature, this is the rear camera. It's really good, welcome, but although not effective, I have my own reservations. Although it is present as a cosmetic feature only, I don't use it really. I still use my reverse, rear view mirrors and then the central mirror, not this. But look, it gives me some delight. So I should admit it's a delight. So like that. One more point really I want to, before I close, in the end also I would cover. When you see the speedometer, it is rated for 220 kilometers per hour. I think, yes. 220 kilometers per hour. I tell you, I have never crossed even 100 kilometers. I mean the speed when I drive. I have instructed my driver never to touch more than 110, whatever be the case. Even we go late, but never cross. Now, 110 is the maximum I use as a customer. Between 80 and 110. Now, why my engine should be rated for 220 kilometers per hour speed? Is it a race car? Is it a luxury car or is it a race car? Now the point is, if I never use in my lifetime, could the speedometer be rated only for say 150 kilometers per hour, and accordingly the engine capacity could have been reduced, accordingly the size could be reduced? Is it possible? Is it possible that way? If it is not possible, I can understand, but it looks like that it is possible. And can another 2-3 lakhs reduce? That the company, could it have reduced another 2-3 lakhs because of this? Or why they are dumping so much? Am I driving a race car? So these are the points. Please, I want, it's your decision. Some people may purchase it but never use it. Think it over as product managers. Next tip. Tip 2. High grade. The culture here is that if it looks glossy and if it is high grade, it should mean high quality. Because we go by this myth that high grade does mean high quality. No. Sorry, my friends. High grade, not necessary. High grade does not mean high quality. That's a message or the tip I would like to drive here. Because I have suffered. I have gone into several high grade. See, for example, some cars which we saw, they're all high grade. But they can turn out to be, they should be high quality. That's what we will expect. But they can turn out to be poor quality. Let us see. I'll give you some examples. Before that, we should know the difference between quality and grade. Most of the product managers, they mix both as the same, or they don't know the difference. Even project managers, they don't know the difference. between quality and grade. Another thing we will discuss is COPQ, which I'll come to later. Now, what is the difference between quality and grade? Definitely, quality and grade are not the same. Quality and grade are not the same. Please take it from me. It is known. Already who knows it, okay. But this is meant for those who do not know it. Why? We think that putting more grade features, before that let us see what is quality and what is grade. The traditional definition of quality is that degree of conformance to the requirements or the specifications, and then fitness for use. If a product, conforms to the requirements or the specifications given by the stakeholders, and if it fits for the final use, it is considered a quality product. Fine, that's all. That's all. And what we think, before that, let us see what is grade. Grade is a category or a rank or a star assigned to products or services having the same functional use but different technical characteristics. This is where, to explain or to understand grade, think of, for example, Ambassador car. Ambassador car, possibly those who are in India, they must be knowing, it's a very old car. Now, versus, let us say, Mercedes-Benz. Now, if I ask some people, without any lecture on this, between these two cars, which one is the good quality car or high quality car? Without any thinking, they would say, obviously it is Benz. You asked for high quality car, obviously it is Benz. That means they think that Ambassador is a bad quality car, low quality car. No, my dear. Both cars are good quality cars. But Ambassador is a low grade, high quality car. Mercedes-Benz is a high grade, high quality car. Then how can we say Ambassador is a low quality car? Because they look at the features and the functions and the glossy finish and the excellent finish and the features it has, several features, attractive features, but those features the Ambassador doesn't have. So they call it as a poor quality car. Generally, that is the perception. That is what you should change. Even several product development managers, they think that introducing several features into the car, whether the customer likes it or not, people will think it as high quality. That's what I told you in my mobile. I have several features, the smartphone, but I never use almost 40% of the features, but I have paid too much money to purchase it because it comes as packed. It is not optional. It's not optional. Like in hotel you go, you pay for what you eat. You pay for what you eat. But with the mobile, you don't pay for what you get. You pay for what is already available. There is no option. Only few things are available as option. Now, as product managers, why don't you give that choice to the customer? Okay, basic features. You may say, already it is there, the variants are there, the classes of phones are there. But what I'm saying, even in the top class, even the affordable, I am affordable, okay, I can afford, I have some money. But then, why you should put it that way? Did you ask me? I am also a customer. Did you ask me that I will use in my lifetime all these? But whereas I wanted two features in my mobile phone, it was not there. What was that? I wanted a torch light. That was not there. Whereas the low grade, I won't say low quality. See, low grade mobile phone users were enjoying it. In fact, my driver was using one time to repair something in the bonnet or in the engine where you had to change something. He took his his mobile phone and used that torchlight facility and then did something. I was really ashamed. I really left perturbed. Why my phone didn't have this? Then I asked, no sir, your phone doesn't have. It's an app you have to download. It's not a hardware feature, it's an app. But in his, I think it's a hardware feature. But in mine, it is an app. Then when I know, I didn't know this. So naturally, I had to, download that app. Then one more feature I was really interested in. That also was not available. Anyway, so please take it in the right spirit that low grade is not a problem, but low quality is a problem. So I have given some examples here. See, low grade, 2-star hotel, but can be of high quality, no obvious defects in service, hassle-free check-in, check-out. However, a high grade 5-star hotel can get into numerous low quality areas. What is that? Many defects in services promised, poor layout, unfriendly to physically challenged, desired TV channels not received, valet parking not there, etc., etc. So one typical product example could be your recall luxury cars, because definitely they don't add value to the customer. Next, COPQ. Definitely, COPQ is nothing but your internal failure cost plus external failure cost. These things do not add value to the customer, not to the vendor, not to anyone. So try to reduce. One strategy is about 25 to 40% of your revenue goes towards repair and rework. Repair and rework. Think of the COPQ in your entire product life cycle. You will be having lots of opportunities to save this COPQ, sorry. Now the tip number 3, make competition irrelevant. I don't think you can make, but at least you can make almost irrelevant. Make competition almost irrelevant. How do you make? Focus on the life cycle cost, not on the delivered product cost. Not on the delivered product cost. How? Project versus product life cycle cost, please consider. Follow agile methods or CCPM for scheduling. Not CPM. Do away with CPM. This is no good. You will fail because there is only 50% probability of you completing the product development project if you go by CPM. CPM is very popular. It's very attractive, but never go by. If you're working on a fixed price contract, do go in for one more C, that is critical chain project management. Agile, of course, you all know, so I would like to little bit not to touch upon it. But the next point, right organizational structure, functional matrix projectized. Most of you will be in matrix where the product managers, the project managers, the functional managers. Functional managers will have the upper hand, the silos, whereas the project managers of the new product development will not have much power. Naturally, you will have tough time there. So, if your product development is very important, try to move into the best structure that is projectized, or try to ask for more power in order to develop your product on time within budget. The last one, but not almost in this step, is very important. Value engineer your product. Value entitlement. Value engineer. What is value? The definition of value is equal to function by cost, or features. Functions or features by cost. So you can increase value of a product either by increasing functions or features for the same cost, or for keeping the same functions features, reduce the cost. Meaning value is equal to directly proportional to functions or features, or value is indirectly proportional to cost. You have both options, either reduce little bit of cost or reduce or increase more functions features. So naturally the value addition comes by way of adding more features and then reducing the cost. In this, you need to do a functional cost worth analysis. It's of course it's an engineering by itself. Try to focus on value adding features, non-value adding features, and then business value adding. Business value adding, of course, not important. Non-value adding you cannot have. Value adding you should have. To do all these things, you need to value engineer. And I don't know how many product managers value engineer their products. And it's one of the branches you must. This is one of the important tips. Tip number 4, mitigate risks in both product development and operations. How do I mitigate? See, I'm not saying that you should avoid all the risks. If you don't want to take risks, you cannot definitely develop products. But how do I mitigate? Prototyping is known to you. Prototyping already known, so let us not, but quickly let us see evolutionary prototypes, throwaway prototypes. Most of the cars are developed like throwaway prototypes. and then they build models, and then they finally build the final working model, and then they, for example, the house construction, they are evolutionary prototypes. You can use a model house, show to the clients in mass complex, and then the clients accept it, and they all accept or approve the key stakeholders of the house. If they all approve their features and functions, because they seeing is believing, and says they see the tiles, they see the finishes, they see the paint, they see the water closet, they see everything, and they okay it. So acceptability from the customer point of view will be very, very smooth and easy for you. So going for prototype, I am not going to elaborate on it, but the next one is very important, redundant. You have to design redundancy into your system, in your product. How do I? Partial redundancy, say 50%. Total redundancy is 100%. You can go for, depending on the criticality of the product, you can go for 50% or 100%. But I have a case in point, a case study. Of course, it's not yet complete, so I'm just touching upon only. I can't say this is correct or wrong. Could this Malaysian Airlines MH370 been saved had it had 300% redundancy? What is this 300% redundancy? Actually, in an airplane, here the cockpit, we have one main pilot and then one co-pilot. And in this case, it was stored all in papers only. It's in I can't say with confidence, but it's all speculation. Now, this main pilot and co-pilot, there are speculations that they have become unconscious due to some depressurization or some fault in the system. Now, this was designed thinking that one of them would be definitely alive, or one of them, even if one falls sick, co-pilot would be able to steer. Now, what I wanted, this now that this has happened either by will or by fate, could we have had another cockpit here in the tail end, but dummy one connected parallelly. They also one pilot, another one main pilot, another co-pilot, but they will be driving, or they will be steering or piloting. These guys will be just standby. Pay them enough, no problem, but connect them parallelly, because when two components are connected in series, if their reliability is 0.8 component 1 and component 2's reliability is 0.9, then the system's reliability is reduced if you connect, because 0.72 only. But if on the other hand, if you connect them in parallel like this, let me put it like this, come like this, in, out. Now 0.8, 0.9, same reliability, but the system's reliability would be 1 minus 0.8 into 1 minus 0.9. That means 1 minus 0.2 into 0.1, which is 1 minus 0.02, which is equal to 0.98. So the overall system's reliability increases. It is higher than the highest of one of its component. Whereas on the other hand, so could this flight have been saved had we had two more pilots in the rear end connected parallelly, not doing anything, just keep them ready in case the other two pilots. Now all the four pilots going unconscious would not have occurred, in my opinion. Again, the reliability increases. So these are all points for action. If the product you are designing is, if it is so critical and 230 passengers' life is in the hands of the two pilots, then I think it is worth increasing the number of pilots to increase the reliability of the system. Then tip number 5, the last one. I'm having only about 5 minutes. Ethics in engineered products. Last but not the least, is very important. I had lots of tips, but finally I thought that at least in the 5th tip, in today's circumstances, I should include it. And so I removed one more tip. I added it in the last 1 hour. What is this ethics? Designed to target, not to tolerance. Our conventional designers, they design to tolerance. What is tolerance? This is your target. This is your specification limits or the tolerance limits, LSL, USL. But many people, they design their product characteristics in such a way that it is distributed like this, and the products that are within this USL and LSL are considered acceptable. That means if it is 20 mm diameter, according to this, if the variance is minus 5 mm and this is plus 5 mm, a 24 mm product also is okay, acceptable. Minus 5, 15, a 16 mm product also is acceptable. But that, too much of loss to the society. Assume that you are manufacturing a 20 mm solid rod. That means too much of iron content going into it. Now, according to this model that is designed to tolerance model, your 24 mm also is acceptable. That means 4 mm extra dia you are giving, but you will be paid the same price. 4 mm, suppose you supply 1 million rods, you can think of the extra material consumed there. On the other hand, if you supply like this, customer is cheated because you are saving 4 mm worth of diameter of material. So it's a loss. In fact, it's a loss to the society. That's where the Taguchi, our quality group, told, designed to target. See that if you manufacture 1,000 rods, all the 1,000 rods are closely manufactured to 20 mm. So neither you gain nor the customer gains. So naturally, why don't we design our products like this? Make yourself the guinea pig first. Another 5 minutes I'll be done with this. What is this guinea pig? Of course, I have a very inspiring thing here. That is, many products when they are developed, when the developer thinks that it is all risky, they don't test it on their own. They engage. Of course, modern day dummies are there, crash tests, etc. Fine. I don't insist, but some products definitely you should go to an extent that that you cannot recall. When you cannot recall, then you should put yourself in the test mode. That's what Dr. Jonas Salk did in the year 1950s, I think. 1950, he was the doctor who found the famous polio vaccine. And when he developed the vaccine, when he wanted to test, nobody came forward at that time. And what he did, the amazing thing, it's really inspiring. What he did was, he first injected that vaccine in his body, and then he asked his wife and 3 sons to inject the same vaccine into their body. And they made them guinea pigs first. And God's grace, it worked well, and they developed a lot of antibodies, and accordingly, further the vaccine was developed, and then it was sold openly in the market. Another thing, he said that I don't want patent rights for this. And because he declined to have patent rights, he lost nearly, as of today, $7 billion by royalty. And because of his noble gesture, we are getting the polio vaccine in a throwaway price. And India should really thank this gentleman and his family for offering to test his entire family as the guinea pig. And millions of children, you all, me, must have, our mothers would have given us the polio vaccine. We should all, we owe a lot of gratitude to this guy. That is how the product manager should inspire in case of life-threatening products. Get informed, applicable. Next, just I told you, pharmaceutical products. I don't think, recently, one big company was banned because it was not following good manufacturing practices. And it's very much for the product manufacturers. We should, that is ethics. It's all because we compromise on our ethics. We compromise, okay, if he gains, if he loses, if I gain, okay, I'll produce on the 16 mm side, LSL side. That is lost to the society because we don't have, we never make ourselves guinea pig. We don't bother to get informed consent. Our product should be tested. If he suffers, if I gain, I'm sorry, I'm not blaming, but there are people, not that everyone is like that. There are. And we don't follow, in that factory it was told, it's not proven or I don't know, but in the paper it was told that some hair samples were present, and the urine samples were, I mean, the toilets were not having running water, things like that were present. This is not the way we can develop pharmaceutical life-threatening products. And so, to sum it up, I want you to make safety first, security next, profit last. Safety first, security next, profit last. But it looks like that we are working in the reverse order. Profit first, security next, safety last. That's why many incidents are happening, and that's why many cars are being recalled, many products are being recalled. So, again, if this fifth tip is not taken seriously, all other 4 tips are waste, in my opinion, because I want, although it is presented in the end as if the 5th tip, because in our culture, whatever presented in the end is not that important. The first one is, but this one is, according to me, is the most important, because without ethics and morale and the character, all our other earlier tips become useless. So, with this request that please make safety first, security next, and profit last, and with my wish to all of you to have great products like the ones we have, eToilet and the iRoad. I wish you all good luck and end my webinar with this. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, whoever joined. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Harry, for such a wonderful session. So we have some questions here, so we'll take the questions. So the first question is,
yeah, sure.
How can we apply this to pharma where technology and innovation takes a backseat? From Somalia Chatterjee.
How can we apply to pharmas?
Yeah, how can we apply this to pharma where technology and innovation takes a backseat?
Why should technology and innovation should take a backseat? No, that is a question. I cannot interact with the questioner, no. So naturally, the answer is, I don't think the technology and innovation takes a backseat, because lots of vaccines that were brought, today, they're all based on the technology and innovation only. Naturally, the technology and innovation has the top priority in pharmaceutical products. So, that is the answer. Because the question itself is not well constructed, I don't think it takes a back.
So,
it is there.
So yeah.
They should try. Let us move on to the next. Yes.
Yeah, so Somalia, are you there? You can ask directly to the Harry. Somalia, are you there?
Somalia is the person who asked. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somalia, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, can you introduce?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah,
you are audible. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm asking, actually, I'm in pharma brand managing the pharma company for marketing, in the marketing field. Okay. And we are having a generic product for marketing, for like azithromycin. So what can be a technical innovation in our azithromycin market or normal market? I'm asking about that. In a marketing perspective, you're a product manager.
See, naturally, the innovation here, especially with respect to pharma, is that you have to look for the diseases. In fact, what kind of diseases are coming. In fact, India is the best place for you, or the developing countries where the number of diseases are more and the new diseases are coming. As the necessity is the mother of invention. The moment any new disease is reported, that is where you should try to quickly find a remedy for it. In fact, the example I told you, that Jonas Chan, so he found the vaccine for polio because there was a polio disease. So keep your eyes and ears open, look for new diseases, and immediately make it as an opportunity to find new drugs for it. So that's a point. Okay, Suraj?
Yeah, okay. So next question is... Yeah, so next question is for a product manager. What's ideal Six Sigma or PMP?
Yeah.
This is the question from Renin Raj.
What is ideal Six Sigma?
Six Sigma, yeah, or PMP.
What is see, PMP is of course a project management professional. See, every product manager would like to develop the product on time within budget. So this project management professional certification awarded by PMI, which I am also a PMP for the last 12 years, most of the projects also fail the new product development. As I told you, it is awarded by PMI based on a body of knowledge. A huge body of knowledge is there. That is the 5th edition is available now, which consists of 10 knowledge areas, which addresses almost all the key areas. And after a training, 35 hours of training, if you apply with the PMI, you will be taking a test, and once you pass the test, that PMP certificate is awarded. It does help you in managing your new product development projects well, on time, within budget. It helps. But there is actually difference of opinion, but in my experience, it has really helped. Okay. Six Sigma. As I told you, Six Sigma helps you to reduce the defect. When we saw the slide on the cars, not the recalled cars, the defects were all simple defects, steering column, and then some headlight issue, and then some oil leak. All these defects could have been prevented if you had gone in for Six Sigma. But most of the companies, in fact, most of the manufacturing companies are not in Six Sigma level. They are somewhere in 3 or 4 Sigma level only. So why don't we spend the money that we are prepared to spend on product recalls, millions of dollars, billions of dollars on product recalls by shipping defective products? Why we should not spend that money upfront on training on Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, especially. In fact, Toyota is the father of Lean Six Sigma. Lean. So they only brought this Lean. But even in their cars, I am surprised to see these defects. But they say that it is all the suppliers, the sub-suppliers' product defects. Okay, this is what is Six Sigma, meaning you will have only 3.4 defects out of million products you produce. You know, that's a level of quality one world-class company should aim to be. Fine. So that answers Six Sigma in a nutshell. Okay, Suraj, next question.
So next question is how one should handle the influence from the internal stakeholders in the view to define the new product. From Mukund.
Oh, great. It's actually okay, this is a good question also, because as I told you, the organizational structure plays a major role. This is in fact covered in this project PMP certification classes very well. That is, there are 3 types, in fact, functional, silos-like, and then matrix structures, and then projectized. In matrix structures, most of the new product development takes place. In matrix structures, the new product development managers do not have, because they are viewed as project managers will not have maximum power. The vertical silo, functional managers, the line managers will have the maximum power. So when they have maximum power, and when the project manager, who is always in a hurry to introduce new products in time, within budget, with lots of features, he will not have the authority to take the decision. When there is a conflict now, who has the maximum power? A functional manager, but he is not responsible for releasing the product. The project manager is responsible for releasing the product on time, within budget, with the given features. But then when the power is with someone else, naturally the conflict comes in. So the matrix organization, whenever they develop new products, temporarily they should move it to projectized structure, entrust with the project managers, new product development managers, more power, and then withdraw the power once the product is developed. This is the temporary solution they can work, because they don't want to change the structure altogether from matrix to projectized. Temporarily they should find a solution like this. If they don't give power, authority to the new product development managers to work freely, they cannot complete on time, within budget. And if they cannot complete, as we have seen, 60% of the new product development projects will fail. Failure means they are not completed on time, within budget. Your competitor will release it on time, within budget, and despite having spent so much money, you will be the second or third winner. Do you want that? So the existing matrix structures should realize this major drawback in them. Fine?
Thank you so much, Ari. That's all we have from our side. So we, Institute of Product Leadership, launch our new program, which is 15 months government approved executive MBA in product leadership. So third round of application is closing on 31st March. So apply ASAP. For this program, Cisco is also announced a scholarship. Once again, thank you so much for joining the webinar. I hope you enjoyed a lot. We'll see you again in the next event. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ari, for a lovely presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Suraj. Thank you all participants. Have a good luck.